Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to do an update on Bin 1. So it has been almost a month since my last update. It's been longer than I expected, but it's time to really get some food in there, see how the moisture content's doing, and see if it needs more bedding. As it's pretty moist in there, probably the worms might have churned through the material a little bit more, so we're really going to have to make sure we get in a good feeding and make sure that the bedding is there that's necessary. So let's go take a look and see how this bin is doing. Okay, so here we are, bin 1. As you can see, the last time I updated was 10/7, and it's 11/5, almost a full 31 days there. So, you know, that's longer than I like it to go, really. I've just been busy doing some other stuff, so I haven't been able to get to it. But let's open this up and take a look. So first off, good amount of moisture on the lid. It's enough where it's dripping, so it's a little bit more moist than we need, but that's okay. As I said, and I've shown in my other videos, and I can link up top, I find a wet bin easier to work with than a dry bin as far as worms. So as you can see here, they've really moved this material around actually to be almost on top of here. Let's just pull that off. Our next area to feed, and we'll put that actually over here in this corner, because this is going to be our next area to feed, is this spot over here. Let's just take a look in here and see how we're doing. Let's just see, it's very, very thick. This is going to need more bedding material, probably a little bit less moisture, although it is still crumbling apart, the material. So you can see some worms in there. So they are looking like they're pretty healthy. Nice big one that fell out right here. Look at that, that's a nice, really big red wiggler right there. Nice and healthy. Let's dig down in this corner over here just to take a look. Some more little wigglers over here. Not quite full mature. Oh, there's our first cocoon. So if you can see that right there, there's a cocoon right there. So that means they are breeding in here. Up here's another more yellow cocoon right there. I don't know if you can see that one or not. Let me put it down a little bit more in camera. So there's two cocoons right in that area. There you go. It's on my glove now. So there you go. You can really see it now. So cocoons in there. That's always a good sign. Feels very thick down here. So this is thicker than I'd like it to be. The bedding material is really starting to disappear into here. There's a little bit more paper than cardboard. Oh, there's a little worm here too. Let me just show you this guy right here. See if I can get him. So there we go. There's a little worm right there. Oh, you probably can't see him because of my glove. It's not focusing on it, but right there on the tip of my glove, that is a little tiny worm. So there are definitely hatching in here too, which is a good sign. I like to see that. Have a few different size worms in here. I've got, you know, still the big ones in here that are probably breeding and multiplying. And then I've got the other ones. Now, it looks like all the food in here is gone, which it well should be, except for these banana tops. These things just take forever to break down. But, you know, if I grind them up, they take a lot less time. But when they're full like this, they too take a while to break down. So those are still there. But other than that, all the rest of the food is gone. It looks like I'm not seeing anything else really in here. So material looks a little bit wet, but it's not too bad really. It's really not. It's not. I mean, I could definitely squeeze it and get more than a couple drops of water, but it's not like it's sticking like mud. I mean, like it still crumbles apart. It's falling off my gloves mostly. It's not sticking to it. When it's really, really muddy, you can't get it off your gloves. That's how you know it's really too thick. So overall, that side looked pretty good. Let's just see what's in the, if there's anything in the center here, because we didn't feed this area. No, I've got a lot of worms in the center here as well, which shows that they're starting to search for food. So they're searching, and they're also eating up this bedding material, which is why there's a lot less bedding in here than I remember from our last check. So paper is definitely compacting down. Again, a nice little tiny worm here, so they're definitely multiplying in here. Doing a really good job with that. Let's just dig right here a little bit. Gotta hold the bin here, it's so thick. And not seeing any cocoons in this section in the center here, but definitely seeing worms. Again, some more tiny worms in here, which shows that they are multiplying. You know, in another probably month or two, those will be fully mature and they'll be ready to produce their own cocoons. So this will be a good time to really start loading up. And then we got these big worms right here that are nice and healthy too. We can see that they're crawling really all over my gloves here. Nice and healthy. And that's because of the bedding material. I know we've run out of food, but the bedding material is food for these worms. So that's one thing you have to remember when you're feeding or adding bedding, is that if they run out of And actually, there's even worms over here in this section too. But if you run out of food, they can eat that bedding material. Nice big worms here. Look nice and healthy. Again, they are searching for food though. So they're starting to really get into other sections of the bin. So we're going to move this around. We're not going to do too much here. We're just going to do a nice big feeding on this side. We're going to empty this out. We're going to get some more paper in here. We're not going to wet that paper down. There's enough moisture in this. We're going to put some paper and cardboard. Just got to grab my bucket over here of paper for bedding. So we're going to put a nice big section of cardboard and paper. And this has a little bit more cardboard in it, I think, than paper now. I've been trying to get rid of some of the papers that I have, and you know, they go into my bin, so they take a little bit more time. We're going to add a good amount of food here. Here's banana peels. As you can tell, these have the stems on them, though. Those are going to take a while to break down. We know that. We're going to add some more bananas. I actually have some lemon pieces here that are going to go in here. Yes, lemon can go in your worm bins. I have a video series on that as well, on adding lemons to your bins. And I'll show you what we're going to do here to kind of balance that out a little bit. So we're going to throw in a couple avocado shells here with some avocado and some potatoes. So this is a good variety of stuff that we're throwing in here. And actually, you know what, I'm going to throw in just a few more lemons in here too. So the key with lemons, I have found, because they can go in here, and I actually had a bin that I just put a bunch of lemons in. So that you can definitely, this is typically one of those no-nos. You don't want to throw lemons in. Well, I do. So you can. What I'm going to show you though here is what you need to do. Once you add those, you need to add some crushed crab and eggshell to it. So this is one of those things that's key for this, is you really, really need to put this on there and make sure that it's going to balance that pH and not let it go acidic. And that's also going to give the grit, obviously, to the worms. Again, be careful with this stuff. This is in a container. I can keep it low. It's not really going up into the air, so I'm breathing it. You don't want to breathe crab and eggshell dust, okay? So now, next what we're going to do is we're going to cover this up with some paper. So that way we can load this back on top. So we're going to put some paper on top here, sprinkle it on. And that's going to protect the worms because all the food is frozen. And I do recommend you add frozen food to your bins as well, because frozen means that there's not going to be any bugs on it. As you can tell, there's no bugs in here. I have had in my Verma bag, if you watch the videos on that, I have had some issues in there with fruit flies from when I added bokashi a while ago. And they just have, it's been very persistent. So our next area to feed there is the center section. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of clean out a little bit of the center section. But we're going to leave a section where they can go back and forth. We're going to keep ourselves known where we're going to feed next. So actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll keep that a little bit empty like that, just like that. So we know where we're going next. The next time we open this up, this should shrink down, and we need to put our cover on it here to mark where we last fed, so we know. This is going to shrink down a lot as this food dries out and releases the moisture back in. Oh, by the way, actually, you know what? I'm just noticing on here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot of little mites on here. So that shows that the moisture content is a little bit too high. When you start getting mites, that means you have a high moisture content. So I think you'd be able to see those in the camera there, but you could see one like right there on these little dots. So the moisture content in here is a little high. If I wanted to dry this out, or if you're running a bin like this at home, what you can do is you can actually leave the top off a little bit. Moisture is just going to kind of lift out of it at the air, and then you can put the top back on to keep the rest of the moisture in. So you can do that with these. The other way a lot of people do is they run it actually with the top off, and they put a piece of plastic in so the air moves around the outside, the moisture can wick around the outside and get out that way. So just some things that you can do on yours. So overall, this is working really well. It did need a feeding a little bit sooner than this, but that's okay. You know, it just shows that you can put these off for a while, and the worms are going to survive. They're going to find a way to survive. So let's put this lid back on, and that is my update for this bin. We'll try to get back a little sooner that next time. I'm sorry about this month-long wait, but I've had just other stuff going on. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have questions, please let me know down in the comments. And thank you for watching.